Hi guys, this is Retro Redo, where I have a look at old games and we go through some probably old consoles and computers and bits and bobs. Right then, so this is Metal Gear Solid, and this has had the new treatment. It's been updated, it's got all sorts in it. So we'll go game selection, and we'll start out with that one. English. Start game. So this is part of the Metal Gear Solid collection. So this is pretty much an 8-bit game. This is like the arcade classics from 1988 all the way back then. And as you can tell from the games that we play today, it's not even mobile standard. Things you can carry in your back pocket. And yet this stood 6 feet tall, sucking loads of power in a neon lit arcade way back when. So controls are limited. We'll just have a little look see. Basically each screen loads in at a time, so we've got to go up. So we can take a call. Oh. Is that the button? Oh, there we go. 8-bit sounds, you gotta love them. Right, we'll just have a quick look at this because what I want to do is just basically just take you through the Master Collection. So this is the first one in the series. This is where it all started back in the day. So we got to avoid the enemies, use stealth, which is pretty easy in some parts. I mean, we can just walk straight by them. Wait for these guys. Shift change. I've already had a little look at it before. There we go. Now they disappear off, and we do that, and then we complete it. Ta-da! Right, back to the main menu again. We'll just have a game selection. Metal Gear Solid 2. There we go. We are in 1990. Wow. Hard to believe in like 5 years we're going to have the PS1. The PlayStation 1. Ah, PlayStation 1. And that was my first iterations into the franchise. We all know the familiar boot up sound. And yeah, so I played the original, well, on the PlayStation. Metal Gear Solid. So this one, we've got synth sounds on it now. That ZX80 processor is certainly straining on this one. Oh my. Even back then, look. We had all this to read. Right, it's pretty much the same as before. We don't have... Oh, we've got a crouch. Oh, a crawl. Oh, hello. So each screen loads in at a time. Oh, we can go back there, can we? Oh, yeah, there we go. Ration unit. So, I mean, yeah, compared to today's standards, it's hard to believe, but this game, the entire game, would probably be no more than an icon today. That was how much memory an icon takes up. Probably this entire game. Right. So that is it, though. This is the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. It's been redone. Oh, end game. back to the main menu again. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the next one, the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection version. We'll just like play the intro and a little bit of it because these intros are so long. So they literally went from beeps and boops into the PlayStation 1, where that is where I was introduced to the series mainly. And then you had the like voice sounds available to you, like video cutscenes. Even though there was fairly basics, they made full use of it. So there was full storytelling going off, full laws were introduced during that era. So I'll go through that and we'll have a little look. But this Master Collection there is quite a lot to it. You've got manuals, you've got artwork, the lore, dialogue for all the stuff that all the games in it there as well. But we'll gloss over it as we go through. Right, let's take a sneaker peek. So part of the Master Collection, the Metal Gear Master Collection, you get this cool digital book. Basically, it's the whole lore of the Metal Gear franchise from start to finish. So you get briefed on Metal Gear, a series with a history spanning over 35 years. Holy crap! So that is it right from its early roots all the way up to the ones today. So it's quite an intensive read. It's got the full history. Right, so let's go open menu. Back. No, we want to quit this. Also, what you get is this Metal Gear dialogue book as well. So basically all what everybody says in there. So it's got the characters and what they say. And they do say a lot in this game. When this game first came out, they had 650 megabytes to play with. So they crammed it with audio, storytelling, and it was basically an explosion of games, like of lore games, because they literally had the room to stick things in there, like audio files and things like that. Compared to today's standards, where you're into nearly terabytes in a game. The game I play, Ark Survival Evolved, once you stick all the mods and stuff in that, it's insanely huge. But back then, the world was their oyster, and boy did they fill their world. Okay, then, so I won't go all of the whole lot, but there is, there is a ton of stuff to go through, especially if you're a Metal Gear fan. So this was my game of choice, the Metal Gear Solid from 1998. So yeah, that was that one. You play the UK version. You can download the Japanese pack as well. So we'll start the game. Okay, you can play the game in different modes, like different windowed modes. You can have like dithering and all things like that. I've just put this on this screen because I mean it's, even though it's been HD remastered, it's still a little grainy.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by Next Generation Special Forces, being led by members of Foxhound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You'll have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike, and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mattis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
The man with the same codename as you. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
That's not even the intro. There we go. That's the pre-intro. New game. Oh, new game. Let's go easy. Let's go easy. It's been a hot minute since I've been here. A hot decade even. Right. Here we go.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface. But make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85. When you want to use the codec, push the select button. When we need to contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the select button. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
So I mean, during this time, you've got to understand is that the game that you saw previously, the Metal Gear game, that is what we was used to as we were growing up. Basically 8-bit sounds, flat dimensional graphics where you had to use your imagination, beeps and boops, and then all of a sudden these consoles came along, and all of a sudden you got Voices, real voices. Orchestra music. Ambient sounds. It was amazing. Right. So this is the ultimate stealth game where you do have to be extremely quiet. Now then, how do we... Right, so we've got scoop and cigs. Yeah, that's right. Cigarettes. You use them to blow onto the lasers so you know where they are. Very politically correct. Right. There we go. Let's... uh-oh. Right, so we've got to make his way over to the elevator, the other side, and avoid puddles because they make splashing noises. Give you position away. Oh, I can see somebody coming down here. Oh, he's coming up here. Right, avoid puddles. And avoid that line of sight. Oh, no! I've flashed in a puddle. Uh-oh! Return to your position.
Snake, there's an elevator there you can take up to the ground.
Yep.
You'll just have to wait.
Sort of kind of got ahead of myself.
You better hide somewhere.
Right, is he going to go? Don't knock on the door. Yeah, you can do things to distract the guards, like you can knock and they go come to investigate. Right, oh, there's another ration box over there. I'm not gonna do it, I don't think. We've got to wait for it to do when it's ready. Oh! Oh, here we go. This is it. Now I've got to avoid the line of sight of this dude. And if you get spotted, you only get so long to try and find a hidey space. Made it. I will actually trigger an event so you get to see what goes off. If you've not seen it before, you're thinking, what the hell is this, Jim? What the hell is this? Again, with the intros, such a massive production at the time. But the storytelling was next level. Alright, I'll get to the top of here. Trigger an event, then try and avoid till it calms down. Then have a little wonder about, and then we'll have a look at the next one in the franchise. Just a little look. Alright. Again, so thick with the storytelling, you're going to get all sorts of dialogue and things. Oh.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
I'm nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's designed to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy, I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
I see. I'm relieved to hear that. Already tested, huh? By the way, how's the diversionary operation going?
2 F-16s just took off from Galena and are headed your way. The terrorist radar should have already picked them up.
Behind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea, but it looks like our little diversion got their attention. Now's your best chance to slip in unnoticed. There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, you must be crazy to fly a hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you to yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec, as well as your Soliton radar system. Contact her if you have any questions about either of them.
Nice to meet you, Snake. It's an honor to speak to a living legend like yourself. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious.
Wow.
Well, I know I won't be bored for the next...
You get
18
cancelled for
hours.
that behaviour today.
Come on. I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake. But I'm surprised. You're very frank for a trained killer.
Looks like we both have a lot to learn about each other.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning about the man behind the legend. But first, let me explain about your Soliton radar system. The bright dot in the middle is you, Snake. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of vision. Be careful, Snake. The genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
First, I want you to infiltrate the disposal site and look for the DARPA chief.
The DARPA chief was injected with the same GPS transmitting nanomachines as you. He should appear on your radar as a green dot.
Get whatever information you can from him about the terrorists. If he's alive, that is.
Snake, your radar isn't affected by the weather, but if you're discovered by an enemy, you won't be able to use it.
Yes, it gets jammed easily, I'm afraid.
Yes, it's all made from currently existing technology. You won't be able to use it in an area with strong harmonic resonance, so be careful.
We'll be monitoring your movements by radar, so contact us by codec anytime you want.
Got it. I'll call if I'm feeling lonely.
Seriously, Snake, we're here to back you up, so call if you need some information or advice. I'm also in charge of your mission data. Contact me if you want me to record your current status. My frequency is 140.96. It's a dedicated frequency for saving data. Don't forget it.
Remember, except for your binoculars, you're naked. You need to arm yourself with whatever weapons you can find.
I remember. First, I'm strip searched by Dr. Naomi here, and then all my weapons are taken away. Imagine yourself put in that position.
Well, if you make it back in one piece, maybe I'll let you do a strip search on me.
I'll hold you to that, Doctor. By the way, sorry to disappoint you, but I did manage to smuggle out my smokes.
How did you do that?
In my stomach. Thanks to the shot you gave me that suppressed my stomach acids.
Cigarettes? How are those going to help you?
You never know.
Yes, lots of hand-holding in this game. But you've got to remember, we've never seen anything like this before.
It's the fastest way, but there's too much risk of being spotted by the enemy.
I can't just knock on the door and ask them to let me in. There's one sentry on the left and one on the right. They're armed with 5.56ers and pineapples.
What about the air duct near the door? There should also be a duct on the second floor.
I can't see it from here.
I'll let you decide the best COA. I'm counting on you, Snake.
Okay. So that was a little bit long-winded, a bit of hand-holding as well. Again, it's something that we wasn't used to. We was used to 2Ds, Pac-Man and everything. And right, let's go find a guy. Also, you can see like just faint footsteps. But if you go in front of a guard, they get suspicious and follow the footsteps. They only follow them for a short while. Right, that's a ration. Right, that's a guard. Let's get his attention.
A surveillance camera?
Uh-oh. There we go. So now everybody's going to come and chase us. They'll only go so far. You've got to try and find a little spot to hide till the counter runs down. And then all the guards go back to where they was originally programmed to walk. You just got to figure out the pattern. So it's basically pattern recognition. But it's still pretty good. Uh-oh. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. Oh. Uh-oh. Pushy buttons. Oh, I'm dead. There you go. Made it. After I screwed it up. Yeah, I'm playing on my Xbox controller and all, so I guess I can be forgiven. Right, so it's pretty much like it's a stealthy game now, so don't get caught, use your environment, you get bits and bobs, lots of dialect, storytelling. But that is pretty it in a nutshell. I'm very excited to play this fully. I won't bore you with the details, we'll move on to the next one. So this is the second one, The Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 2. Again, you've got the master book, the screen book, so basically it goes into the full background story of all the characters and what's happening and all stuff like that. So we've got that. Spoiler alert, yes, but we're only here just to basically just have a flick through. So you can go through there. It's pretty much the same stuff. Zoom in and that, zoom in and that, have a look around, different characters. Yep. Well, screenplay book, basically the dialogue in this particular game. They've all got them. Game selection, English. Start game. Again with the lengthy intros. That's an intro. Oh. Very easy. Right, okay. We'll just have a quick look. It's nice that they put that this is a fictional story. I mean, could be real.
The Hudson River, 2 years ago. We had classified intelligence that a new type of metal gear was scheduled for transport. The whole thing stank, but our noses have been out in the cold too long.
He's right on schedule. He'll know soon enough.
Awesome. They certainly know how to set up a story.
This is Snake. Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear, Snake.
Kept you waiting, huh? I'm at the sneak point.
Everything going okay?
Stealth camo's busted. Landing impact.
We must have overused it. Sorry, but you're gonna have to deal with it. You're not in the military anymore.
Right. I didn't plan on relying on this gadget anyway.
The private sector's not so bad, is it? Privacy guaranteed?
I'm happy as long as no one gives me any more unwanted gifts.
You mean that thing with Naomi?
And I can't say I miss the chattering nanny.
Mei Ling's not so bad. That reminds me, I have to get in touch with her again about that new Natick flashware.
Diverting toys from the SSCEN again? Give her a message from me. Someone will find out, sooner or later. She's better off assuming it sooner and quit while she's safe.
Too true. Okay, Snake, let's get to work. You know how the technical specs of Metal Gear were sold on the black market after Shadow Moses?
All Ocelot's doing.
Exactly. And now every state, group, and .com has its own version of Metal Gear.
Not exactly a classified weapon for today's nuclear powers.
This new one seems to have been designed to wipe the floor with all the other models. The only consistent description is that it's an amphibious, anti-Metal Gear vehicle.
That explains why this one is under Marine Corps jurisdiction.
The mission objective is to make visual confirmation of the new Metal Gear being transported by that tanker and bring back photographic evidence. But I want you first to go up to the top level of the infrastructure, to the bridge. We need to find out where the tanker is headed.
A little reconnaissance, huh?
There's too much we don't know about this new prototype. Capabilities, deployment method. We don't even know how close it is to completion. If we know where the testing arena is, I can start to draw some reasonable conclusions.
All right, I'll head to the bridge ASAP.
Try to avoid confrontations. Our goal is to collect evidence on Metal Gear development and expose it to the world. It would be best if you could get out of there without alerting anyone.
Don't worry, I know the drill. We're not terrorists.
Very good. Don't you forget that you're part of Philanthropy now, an anti-Metal Gear organization and officially recognized by the UN.
Recognized, but still fringe, Otacon.
All right, let's look at your gear. Your weapon is a tranquilizer gun converted from a Beretta M92F.
M9.
It's a little hard to work with because you have to reload after each shot since the slide locks.
Better than scavenging at the mission site. Good suppressor, too.
The chemical stun will take effect in a few seconds and last for hours. You can take down an elephant with that thing. Check out the laser sighting, too. The effects of the anesthetic round will vary depending on what part of the body is hit. We're talking about a difference of tens of seconds between hitting limbs, chest, or head. As for the equipment... Hey, Snake! Cigarettes? What's wrong with you?
It's kind of a lucky charm.
You haven't read the Surgeon General's warning, have you? Here's the digital camera. Works almost the same way as your old one.
They don't look armed.
Hey, Earth to Snake. These are nice, upstanding Marines, not terrorists. Don't get caught. You're in stealth mode here.
Sure, and if it comes to that, a little beauty sleep never hurt anyone. By the way, Otacon, are you sure of this intelligence?
Absolutely. Hacked it out of the Pentagon's classified files myself.
No traces?
Oh, please, I'm too good for that.
But this might be a trap. Remember, there's a price on our heads.
You're just being paranoid.
I hope so. Those men, you wouldn't think they were anything but civilians from here.
With all the ships passing on the river and in the harbor, putting uniformed Marines on the deck would be a bad idea. People can get a clear view of the water from Riverside, too.
The water line is too high. According to the navigational plans, this ship should have discharged its cargo upriver.
It's in there, no doubt about it.
The military trains you to watch for threats from the stern on a boat. That's SOP for counter-terror ops, too. Security should be tighter.
You worry too much.
Where's the target?
Satellite surveillance is a major international pastime these days. I'd say the cargo holds, safely below the deck. Do you see the entrance to the holds?
Looks like there are a few entryways into the crew quarters. The chopper. What? Looks like we're not the only ones after Metal Gear tonight.
Is that a chopper I just heard?
Affirmative. Probably another cavalry. Is there game? Hijack?
They're probably targeting the ship's controls.
Otacon, how many men do you need to take over a tanker of this size?
The ship is run by a computer, so I'd say about 18 people.
AKS 74U. Russians?
You sure?
No Marine barber touched that head of hair. I'm transmitting a photo. Let's get an ID on him ASAP.
I'm on it.
Looks like the tanker's theirs now. KA-60 Kasatka.
Kasatka? Kamov chopper, right? Killer whale.
We need to get a fix on who they are.
Judging by their transport, aren't they some kind of military commandos?
Not necessarily. It could be the KA-62, the civil model.
Look, Snake, all we need is the photographic evidence of Metal Gear. As long as we have those, we can put it online and blow the whole thing wide open. So no pyrotechnics, okay?
All right. I'll do my best.
This isn't like Shadow Moses. Reach me if anything happens. The frequency's 141.12.
How can I check in and save my progress?
I'll do it. There's a frequency set aside for it. 140.96. Sorry, but no Mei Ling this time. Call me on the codec when you want to save.
Got it.
I'll be waiting just past the Verrazano Bridge. You need to be off that ship by then.
I'll be in touch.
Oh my, what an intro. Holy crap. Oh dear me. Right, so as we can tell, the graphics have upped the ante. Don't forget that it's using like the existing hardware. It's just that the programmers figured out how to utilize it better. Huh. Oh, wait, can we get out of there? Alright, I don't want to spend too much time on here just because we got one more to look at. It's the third one, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. And that is probably... That is just about as long intro as this one is as well. If I can take him out. Oh, too late. Too late! I'm calling everybody! Yeah, good night, sweet cheeks. Shot him. Right. Obviously, I'm not very stealthy in this one. We shall have a look at the next one. Okay, so this is the third one in the franchise, and yeah, it's all part of the Master Collection as well. So we still get the Master Book, the Screenplay Book. You do get, like in the bonus section, all audio as well. So throughout the entire game series, all the audio, artwork as well. It's truly ram-packed. So yeah, it'll give you young'uns something to talk about with Grandpa. God damn it. Game selection. Okay, North American. Let's go. English. Start the game. Yes. Very easy. Let's just go.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Sunrise.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop-off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB-754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story, so why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first, and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, and so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selinoyarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us. Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino Yask in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the west. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talent?
She's equipped with two 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as two 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong, you'll be eating dinner, breakfast, and all the rest of your meals in the jungle. Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, Stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
There we go. Oh, those intros are so long. Oh, man. So this is the actual gameplay itself. As you can see, like, we've moved on a couple of generations, and it's pretty fancy now. I'll say a couple of generations, really. What's this? PS2. Right. So, yeah, it's pretty good. Right, so I've got to find my tree. So there we go. Right, so that is the Master
Snake,
Collection.
Where do you think you're going? You can't...
Okay, I've gone too far. We've gone the opposite way. Yeah, so that is the... Oh, it's up there? Yeah, it's up there, look. So this is the Master Collection. I've just done the 3 intros. Not much gameplay, really, because, well, the intros are insanely long. And... yeah, so... I will be looking at other old games as well. I mean, I don't just play Ark. Nice. Right then, I think that's that for this one, guys. And yeah, don't forget to whack a like on it, comment and subscribe.
I see
and I
you've
may see you in
retrieved
the
your
next one.
backpack, Snake.